Oh.
Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Networks provides the support for DCTV.
Here at the News at Noon show, we assemble the best and most interesting news from the area, and Jerry Tope brings you the local weather and related news. Give us a call with news tips or topics you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119.
We're glad you tuned in to watch DCTV. Today's show is live on Tuesday at noon, rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m., and again re-aired on Friday at noon, 3 and 6.
Coming up, Upper Dolores Flow, special event permit update, the future of Colorado pop clubs, and more.
And also a garbage fire, the Colorado teacher shortage, and Mancus Days with weather, the sheriff's report, and area happenings. Today is March 21st, 2017, and now the news at noon. Breaking news from the Cortez Journal. The whitewater boating season has begun on the Dolores River. Flows on the upper Dolores River above McPhee Reservoir were at 1,000 cubic feet per second CFS as of Sunday. Below McPhee Dam, a 60-day whitewater release is planned with initial ramp-up of 400 CFS per day starting on April 11th. By April 16th, rafting flows will reach 2,000 CFS and stay there for 30 days. In the third week of May, managers will release flushing flows of 4,000 CFS for several days to provide ecological benefits to the river. The high flows mimic a natural spring hydrograph and benefit the river by scouring the channel, redistributing cobbles for fish spawning, and improving pool habitat for native fish species. Floodplain inundation also helps generate native vegetation growth by spreading seeds beyond the main channel. After the spike in flows, the river will return to 2,000 CFS for the Memorial Day weekend, with ramp down of 400 CFS per day expected in early June. Boaters are being warned of new bridge construction a mile downstream of the Bedrock takeout. The short section of river between Bedrock and the new bridge may have to be temporarily closed for short periods of time to allow for the final construction. While the bridge is finished, there won't be enough headroom for boaters to safely pass underneath, said Ed Archuleta of the Colorado Department of Transportation. Spotters will warn boaters of the bridge construction, and signs along the river will also be posted. Even without the dam release, low elevation snowmelt has already boosted river flows on the Slick Rock to Bedrock section to 600 CFS and higher, enough for a canoe, kayak, or small raft. The popular 50-mile section features Class 2 and 3 rapids in remote Red Rock Canyon country. The Dolores River Boating Advocates and American Whitewater will be distributing information on a web-based river survey at boater put-ins and takeouts. A new upgraded campground map will be available as well. At least one of the private river access points at Slick Rock will be open to the public for a fee. Boaters are advised to keep dogs on a leash. For public lands access, the Bureau of Land Management runs a campground and river access point at the Gypsum Valley Recreation Site, 14 miles downriver on 25 Road, 25 miles from Slick Rock. From the Slick Rock Bridge, continue east on Colorado Highway 141 for 12 miles to Gravel County Road 20R. Turn left or west and proceed 13 miles down 20R to the Gypsum Valley Recreation Site. Facilities include a launch ramp, parking, picnic tables, grills, and shelters, and camping is also allowed. The main Lower Dolores River boating run stretches for 100 miles through winding Red Rock canyons, interspersed with rapids ranging from Class 1 to Class 4, including the famed Snaggletooth Rapid at mile marker 27. The Lower Dolores River is considered one of the premier multi-day boat trips in the nation when it has enough water to run. No permit is required. In the past, when there was a whitewater release, McPhee Reservoir managers targeted 800 CFS for as long as possible below McPhee Dam. But after hearing from boaters in the past few years, the release level was adjusted to the preferred 2,000 CFS flow whenever possible. The water managers have made a huge effort to listen to the boating community, said Sam Carter of the Dolores River Boating Advocates. For updates on the whitewater release schedule, go to doloreswater.com. The next update will be April 5th. Once the spill begins, regular updates will occur on Mondays and Thursdays and be linked up from DCTV News at Noon Facebook page.
According to the Durango Herald, the hearing for Barbara McLaughlin's first bill in the Colorado General Assembly ended on a 7-5 party line vote in its favor, but proceedings were far tenser than expected as ideas to solve the growing teacher shortage clashed. It's one of those strange paradoxes I haven't had in a long time. I agree with everything you're saying, and I disagree with what we're doing, Representative James Wilson, Republican of Salida, said of House Bill 1003, which would place a December 1st deadline on a study of what is driving down enrollment in teacher programs at the state departments of higher of Education and Higher Education are conducting. Disagreement stems from follow-through on the study and what would come of it, Wilson said. I wrote down 6 words that I think would sum up the study. Not enough, need more, now what? McLaughlin said the study will go beyond just asking why students are not choosing education and actually gather input from rural schools, which are the most affected by the shortfall, and establish a strategic plan to correct the shortage. Wilson argued the teacher shortage was not new. Rather than study the issue, he said steps needed to be taken to help districts who can't find teachers. One option was a bill sponsored by Wilson, which would have allowed rural districts declare a critical shortage and hire non-licensed individuals as teachers. But the measure was killed at Wilson's request. Maybe we should get all of those graduates that are coming out of our college and universities unemployed and pointing them toward education and an alternative licensure program, Wilson said. However, representatives from the Higher Education Department questioned if this was a viable option. Caught in the clashing opinions on how to address the shortage was McLaughlin's bill to study the shortage and create a plan to fix the issue. This approach was supported by representatives of the Department of Higher Education, the Colorado Education Association, and Stand for Children, an education advocacy group. While the viability of the study called for by HB 1003 was debated, both stakeholders and the members of House Education Committee agreed the teacher shortage has reached a crisis level and actions must be taken to resolve it.
I attended the Dolores County Commissioners meeting on Monday, March 20th, which included a public hearing portion to allow any additional input on the proposed Ordinance 17-1, an ordinance to establish a permit for special events conducted within unincorporated Dolores County. In August of 2016, an entrepreneurial group had addressed the commissioners with regard to hosting a potentially large-scale festival near Lone Cone in Dolores County. No land use code process had been established for this type of happening, as there was no prior incident that required such. After a couple of last-minute meetings that included a somewhat frustrated and concerned set of commissioners, it became apparent that some type of standard needed to be followed in order to fulfill the commissioner's role in looking out for the general health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Dolores County. As a result, the board and county lawyer Dennis Goldberg drew up proposed Ordinance 17-1. The draft was released to the public in the Dove Creek Press, and yesterday's open public hearing was offered for anyone interested in expressing concerns one way or the other regarding the new permit process. The Dove Creek Chamber Manager Kendra Cook and one other resident were all the public in attendance. Mr. Goldberg provided a general discussion of how the ordinance was assembled by bringing together research of the neighboring counties' documents and hearing feedback on what has worked, or where there have been issues. The resultant 8-page document is the best amalgamation to fit the concerns for Dolores County. The requirements for a permit are not simply based on the number of people in attendance. The first step is to fill out an application and submit it to the Planning Department and request a pre-application conference with the Planning Commission. An application fee, if applicable, will be due at the time. Once the Planning Commission determines the application is complete, they will make a recommendation or deferral to the BOCC. Next, the Board of County Commissioners will schedule review on a regular agenda or special meeting to determine if the applicant proceeds to the next step of a public hearing. At the conclusion of reviewing the input from neighboring interested parties, a decision to issue a permit is determined. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the Board unanimously approved and adopted Ordinance 17-1, effective immediately as of March 20th, 2017. The full text of the ordinance is available through the Commissioner's office. The Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce will also be available to help prospective applicants through the process.
According to the Cortez Journal, a fire destroyed a granite counter and automotive business south of Cortez on Saturday morning, Fire Chief Jeff Vandervoort said. The fire started about 7:45 a.m. Saturday at the Top Notch Marble and Granite Shop, 6945 Road 24.2, Vandervoort said. It destroyed the 4,800 square foot metal building, which would have been torn down, he said. It was pretty well engulfed, said the chief said on Monday. The cause was unintentional. He suspected the blaze possibly was caused by a battery and battery charger that had overheated inside the building. There was a heavy fire load inside the building, including 2 trucks, about 60 tires, he said. The business was located on the southeast side of the intersection of U.S. Highway 160 and Montezuma County Road G. Vandervoort estimated the fire caused between $300,000 and $400,000 in damage. 12 firefighters from the Cortez Fire District arrived just before 8 a.m. Saturday and stayed fighting the fire until about 11:30 a.m., Vandervoort said. Crews from Dolores, Mancos, Toyac, and Lewis assisted. 2 engines, 2 tankers, and a rescue unit were on scene from Cortez, as well as an engine from both Dolores and Mancos, and a tanker from both Toyac and Lewis. The Montezuma County Sheriff's Office also responded to the scene, he said.
For today's marijuana moment from thecannabis.co, Colorado lawmakers moved closer Monday to a showdown with the governor over pot clubs. A House committee voted 8-3 to approve a bill giving local governments a roadmap to allowing private marijuana clubs. The clubs could allow indoor smoking if they have fewer than 3 employees. The goal here is to give folks a space where they can consume marijuana, said Representative Dan Pabon, a Denver Democrat and sponsor of the bill. The bill also has Republican supporters who say clubs would keep pot smoking out of parks and other public areas. It has already passed the GOP Senate. But Democratic Governor John Hickenlooper told reporters recently that he opposes the pot club bill if it allows indoor smoking. He said it's a bad idea to invite attention to Colorado as a new president takes office and sends mixed messages about whether state pot experiments will be allowed to continue. Hickenlooper said earlier this month, smoking is bad for you, very bad for you. Sponsors counter that the clubs would still be subject to the Clean Indoor Air Act, which bans indoor smoking unless the establishment has no more than 3 employees. The bill bans the clubs from serving food beyond prepackaged snacks or coffee. State liquor code bars any club from selling alcohol. Pabon and other supporters repeatedly mentioned indoor smoking during testimony on Monday. Colorado already has a patchwork of private pot clubs, but the law is unclear about whether pot clubs are okay, and many existing clubs are word-of-mouth smoke-easies. Anti-smoking activists oppose the bill, saying it could send the signal that smoking inside is okay even under limited circumstances. Bob Dole of the American Lung Association warned that Colorado is opening a Pandora's box if it opens the door to statewide pot clubs. No other marijuana state has regulated pot clubs, though underground pot sharing clubs exist even in states where pot remains illegal. Voters in California and Maine last year approved legalization measures that allow for social consumption of pot, but regulations in those states are still being worked out. Colorado's pot club bill awaits a vote by the full House, though sponsors hint that amendments are likely, meaning the bill would have to be returned to the Senate before hitting the governor's desk for final approval.
According to the Cortez Journal, an explosion in a garbage pile caused a fire at the Montezuma County landfill Monday morning about 10:30 a.m. Cortez firefighters responded and, with assistance from landfill staff, put out the fire in about an hour. The landfill was closed until 2:30 p.m. so workers could stabilize the fire site and cap it with 18 inches of soil. No injuries were reported. The cause of the explosion was unknown. The explosion occurred as a heavy machinery operator moved garbage in a new disposal cell. The operator tried to extinguish the fire, but it quickly grew, prompting a call to the Cortez Fire District. 6 Cortez firefighters, an engine, and a water tender responded to the fire, which initially put off heavy flames and a large black plume of smoke. Crews used water, then foam to smother the fire. Landfill staff broke up the area with heavy equipment and mixed it with soil, then capped it with more soil. The fire did not reach an expensive new cell liner. The area of the fire is deemed safe and is back in landfill operations. And now here's our weather report.
Only isolated showers and thunderstorms should form over the higher mountains this afternoon and evening. Clouds will this afternoon increase this afternoon through tomorrow. Best chances of rain will be in the evening and in the night at 30% for now. A 110-knot jet stream will spread over the Four Corners by Wednesday evening, with mountaintop winds increasing to 40 to 50 knots ahead of this system. So we must remind everyone of fire weather conditions. Thursday will continue the chances of rain at 60% and drop to 50 for the night, and with a mix of rain and snow. Then conditions will clear for Friday and Saturday. The snow level for Thursday night and into the wee hours of Friday has been estimated at between 6,000 and 7,000 feet in altitude. Potential exists for 5 to 10 inches of snow in the mountains. Rainfall amounts in the lower elevations stand at 1/4 to 1/2 inch at this time. The best chance for the lower valleys to see snowfall will be after midnight Thursday night and into Friday morning. As the colder air moves in, with some mixing of rain likely, but accumulations look limited in lower elevations. Decent rainfall amounts, however, are possible in the valleys on Thursday with potential for thunderstorms. The southern and central mountains look favored for the best snowfall accumulations by Friday morning. The setup looks prime for the Uncompahgre Gorge in the northwest San Juans to see. They have potential for heavy snowfall Thursday night into Friday morning. Then a drying trend will begin Friday afternoon from the west to the east. Some snowfall will linger through Friday morning over the western Colorado Divide Mountains. Clouds will increase Saturday ahead of another system that will move through on Sunday. And spring break week looks like it will be a series of systems moving through with more moisture potential. Widespread rain with mountain snow is forecast for the majority of the West over the next few days. Portions of northern and central California may have periods of higher rainfall amounts and intensities that could lead to rapid runoff and/or flash flooding today and tomorrow. The area of potential concern will shift southward to Southern California Wednesday afternoon and into Thursday. Higher snowfall totals are expected for the Sierras and the northern Cascades. As an upper-level low tracks over the Great Basin and desert Southwest, a surface low will develop and form a surface front from northern Utah to Mexico. This will generate snow across the Great Basin and Wasatches and the Wind River Range by midweek. Disturbances over the northern Intermountain region and northern Rockies will move east and dissipate over the Ohio Valley during the evening hours tonight. Snow and rain will spread over parts of northern Intermountain region and the northern Rockies into parts of the northern and central high plains and is forecast to dissipate by this evening as well. A second area of upper level energy will move out of the northern Rockies into the central plains today into Wednesday morning, producing rain and some snow over parts of the central Rockies, central high plains, and moving into parts of the central and northern plains by tomorrow. Low pressure over the Ohio Valley will move offshore today, and the associated front will advance southward to the interior Gulf Coast states and eastward off the southern mid-Atlantic coast by tomorrow morning. Showers and thunderstorms along the frontal boundary are expected to end over the mid-Atlantic by tomorrow afternoon. High temperatures forecast for the next 5 days have a smaller differential than yesterday, so middle 60s to lower middle 50s Wednesday through Sunday is the expectation today. Lows are expected to begin at 40 tomorrow night and then drop to mid and lower 30s, but hopefully stay above freezing for Dove Creek. Now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, state assessment testing begins next month for Cortez schools, and administrators are anticipating improved student participation on the tests. Our projection for PARCC testing is very high, Superintendent Lori Hockness told school board members at their meeting Tuesday. PARC, or Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers testing, starts on April 6th for Montezuma Cortez High School. Hockness said fewer than 5 families have expressed interest in their children opting out of testing. Cortez Middle School Principal Glenn Smith said nearly all his students will participate in the test. Low participation at CMS and MCHS, which has hurt the district's standing on state accountability measures, according to school officials. With this year's results, they hope to get a better picture of how students are progressing.
TD Bank Group and the Nature Conservancy of Canada have released a new report that assigns an economic value to the real ecological goods and services that forests provide to Canadians. The report's findings are based on case studies of the Nature Conservancy and conservation lands located in Canada's 8 different forest regions. The report uses new economic tools to assign an annual dollar value per hectare to the natural benefits of forest. On the lands examined in each province, the minimum value of services provided by forests averages at about $26,000 per hectare per year. 1 hectare is equal to 2.47 acres. Remove a forest and those costs would have to be paid by society, local communities, and individuals/taxpayers. The report's authors say that they hope their research will help governments and communities make better decisions about land use, conservation, climate change, and sustainable development. Their effort puts a representative price on the natural capital of forests. Natural capital is the measure of all the services that nature provides to us, services we often take for granted. The report's figures are based on the forest's ability to absorb and store atmospheric carbon dioxide, clean our drinking water, filter the air we breathe, and retain water, thereby preventing floods. Forests located in wetlands receive an even higher value. They store more carbon in peat and often play a bigger role in storing and cleaning water. In addition to ecological services, forests provide a lot of additional benefits, such as opportunities for recreation and the conservation of biodiversity, and serve sometimes as culturally important places, although it's difficult to assign dollar values for many of those. The report says the importance should not be underestimated.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, Mancos residents will salute military service members with this year's Mancos Days Festival, which features the theme Honoring Those Who Serve. A new group, the Mancos Colorado Days Association, has taken over planning of the event from the town, and President Daria Sparks said the transition has gone well. The committee chose the theme at a meeting last month. Sparks said it was a no-brainer to choose that theme. Mancos Days takes place during the last week of July, so they wanted to begin and end the month with patriotic events, she said. Most of the events held in previous years will continue, Sparks said. The committee hopes to add new events such as a basketball tournament. The Mancos High School football team will play a game to kick off the first night of the festival. A disc golf tournament at Cottonwood Park is possible, but details haven't been finalized. The committee is looking to add other small events such as cornhole and washers, Sparks said. Sparks said she's looking forward to the volleyball and softball tournaments during the festival. She hopes to see softball teams from as far as Telluride and Farmington join in the fun. The Mancos Schools PTA is organizing the Mancos Days Fun Run this year, which will be a color run, she said. Funds from the color run will go to the PTA so they can put it towards school programming, she said.
Now national attention hits USA Today with an article on the continuing saga of the Free the Nipple campaign in Colorado. A federal lawsuit over a Fort Collins law prohibiting women from appearing topless in public will carry on. The Fort Collins City Council met behind closed doors for 75 minutes Friday in a special meeting to discuss the case and the city's public nudity law, but then took no action during a brief public session. That means the city attorney will keep working with the outside legal counsel on the case in U.S. District Court, said Councilmember Ross Cuniff. Mayor Wade Troxel said the purpose for the Friday meeting was to inform council of its options. Whether the council will consider changing the public nudity ordinance remains to be seen. Supporters say the topless ban fight is about gender equity. The city was sued in May of 2016 by local members of the group Free the Nipple over the topless ban, which was enacted in 2015 after a couple of contentious public hearings. In February, U.S. District Court Judge R. Brooke Jackson granted a preliminary injunction stopping enforcement of the law. The law discriminates against women and, quote, perpetuates a stereotype ingrained in our society that female breasts are primarily objects of sexual desire when male breasts are not, Jackson stated in his decision. In granting the preliminary injunction, Jackson stated he would likely rule in favor of a permanent injunction. City officials said the injunction was not likely to have much of an immediate impact on a practical level. No tickets have been written for violating the city's public nudity law as it pertains to topless women. A state law that prohibits knowingly exposing intimate parts, including the breast of a person, to cause sexual arousal or harm remains in effect. Through early February, the city had spent $48,110 on outside legal counsel for the case.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of March 13th through the 19th. A county resident reported a red heifer loose in Cajon near Road R. Town residents requested assistance removing a person from their property who was refusing to leave. Alan S. Carmichael was arrested on a Dolores County warrant for failure to appear. That's it for today's roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
And for today's High Country happenings, March 21st today is National Ag Day. Started back in 1973, it is designated to showcase the important role that agriculture plays in our society. For more details, visit their website at agday.org. In Cortez, there will be a free Easter raffle of stuffed animals at the Cortez Public Library for kids. 1 ticket per person. Winning tickets will be drawn on Wednesday, April 12th. You do not need to be present to win. The library is located at 202 North Park Street in Cortez and may be reached by calling 970-565-8117. They would like to thank patron Addie Dodson for her generous donation. Montezuma Cortez High School Jazz and Concert Bands will play their spring concert on Tuesday, March 28th. The free event starts at 7 p.m. at the MCHS Auditorium. We're inviting everyone in the community, band director Rodney Rithaler said. The groups are preparing for a festival schedule starting at the end of this month. Many of the tunes featured at the March 28th concert will appear on the program for festival appearances. March 31st, the jazz band will travel to Farmington, the San Juan Jazz Festival. April 20th, the Symphonic Winds and Concert Band will travel to Bayfield for the Colorado High School Athletics Association Large Group Festival. April 21st, the bands travel to Grand Junction for the Colorado West Music Festival. MCHS hosts the All-District Band Night on May 2nd at 7 p.m. The jazz band will wrap up the festival season at the Skyline Jazz Festival in Longmont on May 5th. Also, the Colorado Cattlemen's Association will hold a banquet from 6 to 9 p.m. April 8th at the Sky Ute Event Center, 115 Goddard Avenue. A social will be at 6 p.m. and a buffet will be at 7 p.m. with a short program with U.S. Representative Scott Tipton. Dancing will follow. Tickets are $45 and they are available for purchase at various locations around Durango. For more information, visit coloradocattle.org. All of the happenings are posted up on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the embedded YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. Our email is dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 677-4119 and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. This program airs live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
We're also featuring a live call-in show called Talk Tuesday. It's aired live Tuesday evenings at 5:30 p.m. and then rebroadcast throughout the week at 5:30. Be sure to check us out on Facebook page. It has all the links and details with original stories, the video replays, and we ask that you please like us there and share the link.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.